Welcome back to Breakdown. Today is Tuesday, August 13th. JJ, the stars are aligning.
The stars, they are aligning.
I just got back from heaven. It was hot down there. I got a fish fry coming up this weekend. Caught more fish this year than I ever caught in my life.
Down there.
Football season is starting pretty soon, and you got a wedding coming up in a few months. The stars are aligning. But today, what are we going to talk about?
Today, we're going to talk about, well, since this is the last week without football, why don't we talk about football?
Okay, let's talk about preseason rankings.
All right, preseason college rankings.
Exactly. AP came out with their preseason ranking. Who was number one?
Number one were the Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia Bulldog. Who's number two?
That would be Ohio State.
Big Ten, two. SEC, one. What's your take on the AP's preseason ranking?
I think it doesn't matter as much as it did in the past. Obviously, where you started was kind of it wasn't insurmountable. Teams like Auburn started the season unranked and then went on to make the championship game, but it does do a lot as it pertains to getting you on that platform. So, when back in the BCS days when there was two teams.
Yeah, if you were ranked, had a good ranking to start, you could maintain that ranking even if you were losing. But as you said, it's not as important because this year, how many teams are going to be in the playoff?
This year there's 12. Who knows what's
Well,
going to be next year? But
okay.
For now there's 12.
So it doesn't mean as much to me. But let's talk about it anyway.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
How many Big Ten teams made it?
Big Ten. A few made it. If you wanted to do the top 10, I would say the Big Ten was 40% of the top 10.
Okay, what percent of the top? 40%. That's not bad. What percent was the SEC?
They were also 40% of the top 10.
So you telling me 8 out of 10 teams coming from two conferences preseason?
Yep, and the other 20% was Notre Dame and Florida State. Many people think that both of those schools might be in either the Big Ten or the SEC pretty soon. So, as of right now, they're on the outside looking in, but that's just a matter of time.
Well, JJ, I'm going to name really quickly the Big Ten teams that made it. Ohio State 2, Oregon 3, Penn State 8, Michigan 9. USC 23, 23, and Iowa 25. Who is, of those teams, who is the most overrated team in that group?
Overrated team in that group.
Yes. Who would be the over? I know who I'm going to say right away, but we'll see.
I would have to go with USC.
Why?
Because they lost everything on offense, and their defense was.
Well, they're probably good thing to lose everything on defense.
Well, they also lost some 5-star recruits on defense, unfortunately, that committed to other places.
Okay.
But they just lost everything. They don't have any.
So USC is your most overrated Big Ten school.
Yeah.
My most overrated Big Ten school won it all last year. You know who that is?
I know who won it all last year.
Who won it all?
The Michigan Wolverines, but they're definitely not overrated. So
They're rated number 9, preseason number 9. They lost everything, offense and defense.
No.
Lost their coach.
They have 3 preseason All-Americans on defense.
Lost their coach.
Okay.
Lost their quarterback. We'll see. And plus, they're under NCAA scrutiny that we'll talk about later. Okay, but my team is Michigan being overrated. Yours is USC. Which of these 6 teams are the most underrated team in the AP?
I would say Michigan is the most underrated team in the AP.
My.
I would put them at least at 6 ahead of Ole Miss.
Okay. And I'm going to say Iowa is the most underrated. They got a new offensive coordinator. Did I tell you that?
They do have a new offensive coordinator. Unfortunately, they have the same quarterback as they did last year to start the year, and he has been brutal.
He was hurt much of last year as well.
According to reports, he has been brutal this offseason.
But they have most of their defense back.
Well, I mean that's
and their defense was awesome last year.
Well, they don't have their best player. Cooper DeJean is in Philadelphia with the Eagles. But yeah, they do return a lot on defense, and Iowa's. You can set your clock to Iowa's defense. It's going to be pretty good. That's not the side of the ball to worry about. It's the other side of the ball.
Okay. Well, the SEC, Jay, the SEC has Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss, Missouri, LSU, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Texas A&M. 9. They have 9 in the top 25. Which one is the most overrated in your mind?
The most overrated team in my mind of that, as much as I want to say Alabama, I'm gonna go with Ole Miss.
Really?
Yeah, no, I don't believe in Ole Miss. I mean, I know that this is the year that the boosters have been playing on. The schedule is favorable. They got all these transfers. They have like the NIL collective built up, but I just think they're gonna fall on their face again. I don't expect them to win. I mean, I know that there aren't divisions anymore, but if there was a division, I wouldn't anticipate them finishing in the top 2 in the West. I think I like LSU to finish ahead of Ole Miss, and I just don't believe. I believe in their offense. I think Lane Kiffin is a great offensive coordinator. I still don't believe that he's a great coach. But
their quarterback is coming back, Dart. He's been there. It seemed like forever.
Yeah, and he's mediocre. Okay. So he'll be mediocre again.
But he got experience.
Yeah, he has experience being mediocre. He absolutely does.
I'm kind of torn between I think quite a few teams on here are overrated. Personally, I'm not sold on Texas A&M. They have a new coach. I'm not sold on Tennessee. And although Missouri had a super team last year, can they do it twice? That's my question for them. So I'm not really sure.
They know how to schedule, because that schedule, sure, I think that they could.
Okay.
My other pick is Oklahoma. Oklahoma, I think they went, what did they go last year?
Last year, I don't remember.
I know it wasn't
They
great.
kind of caved near the end.
Yeah, I think they won 7 games, maybe 8, but I don't think that they should be in 17. Especially when they lose Dylan Gabriel, the guy that's predicted to, preseason pick to win the Heisman.
At Oregon now.
At Oregon.
Yeah. Okay, JJ, who's the most underrated team on that list?
Underrated team on that list, to me, I think is LSU.
Interesting. I love their coach.
I think he's I think he's a proven commodity. He's won everywhere he's been, from Grand Valley to Central Michigan to Cincinnati to Notre Dame. I think he's a good coach. I also know that they lost the Heisman Trophy winner. They lost
They did. Quarterback.
2 first-round receivers. They lost a lot on offense, but they have Garrett. How do you pronounce it? Nussmeier.
You know you asked the wrong person when it comes to pronounce the name.
They have a good quarterback waiting in the wings who's gotten a lot of experience in playing time. I think he's like a redshirt sophomore, but he's gotten a lot of reps. I like LSU. I think their offense won't miss a beat, and if they can just get that defense in order, if they can cover anybody, I like LSU to finish much better than they did last year.
If I have to give my most underrated, as I said, I just got back from heaven and it was hot down there.
Yeah.
And for all the unenlightened, heaven means, what does heaven mean, JJ?
I'm one of the uninitiated, so you tell me.
Arkansas, WPS, Whoopik Suey, one of the most underrated teams that's not in the top 25 that should be in the top 25. I've been down there, and they got some great Kool-Aid down there. Some red Kool-Aid, JJ. If you drink that red Kool-Aid, you will have them winning it all this year. So I should have brought back with me some of that red Kool-Aid for you.
No, I said that the most underrated team, I was just going off the teams that were ranked.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're counting all the teams in the SEC, I'm going to go with Auburn.
Okay.
I think Auburn's the most underrated team. I think that they finished the season ranked.
Well, JJ, let's move away from the AP preseason poll. Let's talk about an ex-college coach.
Okay.
There's a lot of them out there, but one stands head and shoulder above them all. That would be none other than Coach Jim Harbaugh, now in Los Angeles.
Coach of the Chargers.
Who's winning the war between Jim Harbaugh and the NCAA? Who's winning that war? And why is there a war?
Yeah, I mean, there's a war because obviously Michigan does not respect NCAA's authority. and the NCAA wants to establish as much authority as they possibly can.
Okay.
They seem to be losing ground on a lot of different fronts. Paying the players, they lost that one pretty badly. It was 9-0. The Supreme Court all agree. Like you can't find, you can't get them to agree on anything. So they all agreed. So they're losing stature, they're losing influence, and I think Jim Harbaugh's at the point right now he's perfectly fine challenging it directly, because Michigan won the championship last year, and because Jim Harbaugh got an NFL head coaching job, a 5-year contract. The whole 4-year show cause that he got from the NCAA would lead me to believe that Jim Harbaugh is winning that one.
Why do you think he got that 4-year show cause?
Because the NCAA has to pretend like they're doing something.
Okay. Is Michigan's championship tainted?
I think it will be tainted in the minds of Ohio State fans and Michigan State fans, but I don't think the larger majority will think that, and I know Michigan fans won't think that.
What did Jim Harbaugh do to earn a 4-year show cause? Was it 4 years? Well, to earn his show cause letter or whatever from the NCAA. What did he do?
Non-cooperation and lack of institutional control.
Okay.
He would not cooperate with NCAA, and he, allegedly didn't know what was going on in a program that he runs, where the buck stops with him. But yeah,
What about the dead period where he was meeting with athletes and showing them the campus, multiple athletes, showing them the campus during a dead period where you can't recruit?
Yeah.
Is that a legitimate reason for the NCAA to come down on someone?
I think it's like the sign stealing thing, where like Michigan wasn't the only team that did that. A lot of teams do it, but they did get caught. I mean, it's kind of like if you're speeding and you're going with the flow of traffic, you can say like all these cars around you are speeding too, but I don't think like the police officers gonna really care about that. They catch who they catch, and they caught Michigan.
But to use your analogy to bring it home for me, coming back from Arkansas, coming back from heaven, police officers stopped me. But I'll leave that at that. But you mentioned Sharon Moore. Let's talk about Mr. Moore.
Yeah.
What's going on with him, the new head coach at Michigan? What's the deal with him?
Yeah, he got a level 2 violation because of 56 deleted text messages to counter Stallions, which indicates that he knew a little bit more than he let on. I guess the text messages weren't like that incriminating because it's just a level 2 violation. I think he knew that counter Stallions was sign stealing, but I guess there isn't proof that he knew exactly the method of which counter Stallions was stealing the signs.
It's interesting that those messages got deleted the very same day that the story about Mr. Stallion broke. It wasn't that they got deleted a week before, a week here, one here. All of them got deleted on the same day.
And to me, it's amazing that people are still texting, like leaving a paper trail in 2023. I mean, I couldn't believe that they got caught like that. I mean, you should WhatsApp. You should do some type of encrypted. You should use some type of encrypted messaging service. You should not be texting.
But all of this, JJ, when you start adding all this stuff together, to me, it's a legitimate thing to put a question mark about the Wolverines' national championship. If you talk about recruiting during a dead period, stealing signs illegally, I mean, come on now. But it's all right, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to move on, JJ? You still want to defend your maize and blue. What color you wearing today anyway? That's almost maize.
Blue? I don't think blue is almost maize.
It's almost, it's blue.
It's my work colors.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything to defend. Like, if you give me something to defend, I'll defend it, but I mean, that's an interesting opinion. I don't agree at all.
Okay. Well, let's move on.
Let's move on.
Where you want to go now?
Why don't we go to Texas?
Oh, Texas. Texas. Where are they? Texas is rated preseason number 4.
Yep, number 4 in the country.
They've been having some injuries down there. What's going on with Texas?
Yeah. They've lost a couple of running backs. C.J. Baxter is lost for the season. He was going to be the returning one of the bell cows.
Yes, sir.
He's already out for the season. And then
he was a Doak Walker candidate.
He absolutely was. They were going to feature him a lot.
Yes.
So he's out for the year. So they're gonna have to recalibrate their offense in that respect. And then a promising young freshman, Christian Clark, got hurt in practice.
Another running back.
Another running back got hurt in practice yesterday, and they haven't disclosed the degree to which he is hurt. But that just cuts into their depth. They have a great offensive line. They have Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning. They lose a lot of receivers. Xavier Worthy, who's now in Kansas City. They lost a running back to the NFL as well. But, I just think that cuts into their depth, which, speaking of Michigan, they go to Michigan.
I can't wait. Second week of football season.
And you're going to have to be able to run the ball against Michigan because they have the best player in the secondary in country, Will Johnson. They also have Kenneth Grant and, Michigan has a very stout front, and you're going to have to be able to run the ball. So Texas is going to have to manufacture a run game, whether it be like the short passing game. I know that they have wide receivers taking reps at running back in practice currently, but they're going to have to find ways to manufacture a run game because you can't just go vertical on the defense as good as Michigan's.
We'll get into this in more details.
In week 2.
Yeah, but JJ, Texas is rated number 4, Michigan number 9 preseason ranking.
Mm-hmm.
This preseason ranking came out after it was known that C.J. Baxter was out for the season.
Yeah.
Do you still agree with that number 4 ranking?
No, I think a lot of people probably just made those rankings before they heard about C.J. Baxter, and they just decided not to change it because, honestly, in the preseason, I probably wouldn't change it either.
Okay.
I don't agree with it. I would probably push them down. But Alabama's unproven. They have their quarterback coming back, but they don't have the best coach in the history of at least this era of football. They're unproven. Ole Miss. Notre Dame, they lost 2 offensive linemen. Their best offensive lineman just tore his pec. Notre Dame, I think, would be a little bit further down. I put them below Michigan as well, and Penn State.
They play week 1, Texas A&M, I believe.
Yeah, and Penn State's quarterback still has not lived up to all the hype that he's supposed to. All the laudits that he came with. He didn't show anything last year, so Penn State is still a question mark. And then Michigan also has to replace a quarterback.
Every time I pick up an article on my phone, they're talking about how great Penn State is.
And they have a great defense. They should have better receiving core. Good offensive line. It just this was supposed to be the quarterback that pushed them over the edge. Okay. This was the one. This was the 5-star that Penn State was early in before when he was a 3-star. He stayed with Penn State. Didn't go to Ohio State. Didn't go to I think he's from Ohio. He didn't jump ship. He stayed with Penn State, and he was okay last year. Okay. He was like a poor man's J.J. McCarthy last year.
Hey, a poor man J.J. McCarthy. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the poor man C.J. Stroud.
Well, both of those guys are top 10 NFL draft picks. So if he gets drafted in the first round,
J.J. McCarthy is meniscus issue with Minnesota.
Too bad for him, but as a Lions supporter, oh well.
Well, JJ, I can't wait for us to start talking specifics about certain games, but we'll hold off until they get closer to the game time.
Yeah.
Really quickly though, as we get to wrap things up, Pitbull, some interesting stuff happening with the artist,
Mr. Worldwide, Mr. 305.
305.
Yeah, he bought the naming rights for Florida International University Stadium. I think he had to pay $1.2 million. And with that, he gets to use it 10 times a year for whatever he wants. He gets to have after show concerts, performances. He does have to make a theme song for Florida International. But I think this is like one of those things that are going to benefit both sides. I think it's going to bring more attention to Florida International, and
obviously Pitbull is going to benefit from it.
Yeah.
I can see more of those happening pretty soon. I think Beyonce is going to be having the Razorback Stadium pretty soon, Reynolds Stadium or something like that. But anyway, JJ, you ready to wrap this up? You got some more you want to talk about?
I think that's it for the last week without football. Next week is week 0.
Bring it on. Okay, we out of here. WPS. Drink that Kool-Aid.
Who that?